Well, I'm Eric Wright, 28, based in Toronto. I'd say I got into film 2.5 years ago. Um, Always me being an old school person, always with my style and influence. I've always seen pictures as just a gateway, nice art, artistic view, and I always got into that even as a young age. My dad, he had a lot of 90s hip hop albums, Big Pun, DMX,
Mm.
Locks, you name it. And it's like me at a young age, I just go through the albums and also go through the album pictures, the credits, and just see all the extra pictures. And I've always got captured through that. A lot of 90s, Chicago Bulls, hip hop, Tupac, Jay-Z, you could name it. A lot of those guys just influenced me heavy. So a lot of street. I always try to incorporate that, and especially in my portraits, always try to influence that type of aspect.
So when did you start photography? I mean, I know you just said your dad pretty much inspired you and like all this
Right.
music and stuff, but like around what age did you start?
I'd say about 25. After 25, I
So pretty recent.
realized, yeah, pretty recent. I mean, I literally just jumped into it. I've never owned a digital camera. I
Okay.
mean, I took media communications and there was a photography course, so I know my basis, but I've never owned a digital camera to tell you the truth. And I honestly, just me being the old school person, I seen film just popping up, blowing up in the recent years, and I said, let's just take it on and just try to get creative and do the best I can.
Would you ever get a film camera? I mean, sorry, not film, digital camera?
I mean, being in this now, I mean, I would definitely would because now it's like, why not learn both digital and
True.
film? Because coming in, I was just like, I'm not a big pixelated type of person. I'm not a tech savvy digital imaging editing type of guy.
True.
My work is literally just development and just I just post it. So it's like digital. I like the aspect of it so quick. You can just delete it, but you can take as much pictures as you want. That's what I don't like. With film, you got to make sure you have this set and you capture it. That's how I
You're
always loved
like a
film.
lot more in control.
Right, exactly. I like that creative aspect.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
So, what's like your creative process? Like, what goes about that?
My creative process, honestly, I just make sure, like, depending whether it's street or portrait, when I'm in the street, I just literally just make sure I have my camera on go and just ready to just feel whatever vibe. I always try to work around the city environment and the vibe. I mean, Toronto is culturally diverse. You got a lot of different cultures and you can just go in there and just blend in, and it really just, you just gotta act natural, don't really look like you're creeping or whatever, like, especially with street photography, you do get a lot of people negative comments and delete that and stuff, but you just have to work around it and just let them know, you're a street photographer. And I really just work around the conditions and just go with the flow. Portrait wise, I mean, I'm really getting into portrait, but I did send you all my images, basically portrait, but I love portrait just in the aspect of just seeing different faces. I like humans and just seeing different faces and just a whole new aspect.
That's super cool though. So I
Thanks.
know you said the main inspiration that you get from is like 80s and 90s
Yeah.
because of your dad. But what about that era like inspires you the most?
I would honestly say it's the golden age. Like, they like to say that, and I feel like I'm like an old person trapped in this 21st century body. I really just the music, the 70s, the times, the fashion. It was just so inspiring when you look back at pictures and you see the difference from today until now. I mean, it's a huge difference, and the aspect is just, I would love to live during those times. That's why I always try to recapture that time through film, best way I could.
Are there any like specific artists from that era that you like really, really like are in love with or obsessed with or whatever? I feel like there's a lot.
Uh,
Very broad.
I mean, there's a lot of hip hop photographers during that time. Jonathan Mannion, he shot a lot of hip hop artists. Jay Z, Chimodu, if you know that guy, he shot a lot of Tupac. I remember young, I was just saving as much Tupac pictures just because, like, it's Tupac. I was so heavily influenced, and Chimodu just captured Tupac perfectly. I love Vivian Mayer. She's a perfect example of like just going out in the streets and capturing the times. During those times, it's like perfect time, and I'm just trying to recapture it during this century as best as I could. Uh, who else? Yeah, basically that's about it. I mean, I'm
Do you think it?
literally,
Do you think it's rough to like do it, like to capture that essence in today's like world?
it
Can it be
is, it
hard?
is. I mean, first of all, I love black and white, so I love to capture things black and white mainly. Uh, because just the atmosphere is just much different. You see a lot of people just on their phones in the background. During those times, no one was on their phone. They were really just out in the field, just enjoying life. When you're out here in the city, New York, Toronto, wherever you're at, everyone's constantly looking at their phones, and it's like that's the most common picture you can get, and it's a big difference. There's buildings, yeah, that's the main difference.
You make it seem so easy. Just want to
I
say that.
mean, I
Like,
don't. I don't. I mean, I try to make the best out of nothing and just make sure I have my camera. Make sure.
that's good. So, what's next for you? Like, do you have any exciting news about
Any
maybe project
exciting
or
news
anything?
upcoming? So Cool Out K, he's based in New York, and I always go to New York in Labor Day weekend. That's about a month's time, and he got a few friends that are just in that 70s, 80s vibe as well, and I'm all about working with them and just trying to make a next series and make the best out of it.
That's super cool. All right. So then, my favorite and last question is, what are you
Okay.
currently listening to?
Honestly, like I'm such an old school person right now. I just finished listening to Jizza, Liquid Swords, the whole album. I mean, that's that's about it. I mean, Bob Marley, Road to Zion, Exodus. That album is great. Recently, I have my boy. He's an upcoming artist from Toronto. His name's 100 Wops. He's got a lot of bangers on the SoundCloud as well. You could um, find him at 100 Wops, 100 WOPS. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, I'm so old school. I'm not up to date with these musics. It's good, but it's just not my frequency.